Hey, HR friends, welcome back. So we made it to day four, and we're still in the 2-4 emotional 6.5 day sequence. This is the entire 6.5 day sequence, and the white rectangle is showing you day four. Now, before we get started here, we always like to review the previous 24 hours. So in this previous 24 hours, this was the 24 hours of Father's Day. And in the first 12 hours, it was a little bit hectic. And in yesterday's or in the previous 24-hour predictions, this peak right here, this guy right here, and this one right here, that was red alert. And I made mention that if things were going to go down, that it was likely going to go down at or around this peak. And I'm just letting you know, there were 5 mass shootings that happened around that peak during these timelines between day two and day three. So when I'm done here, I want you to go back and check that out because this is why we're doing these predictions. We're trying to give people the heads up of when these unfortunate events, when we get real aggressive or when things happen where people are, put in harm's way. That's because of our defensive design and because of these polarity points, and it is half of the challenge. So we're going to talk about polarity points here first because this is what's trying to disorientate us. This is what's trying to get us to be in conflict and fight with one another, and it's creating the organized chaos that is starting to consume us, both at the individual and at the collective level. Now, you can see here, we're going to look at day four. You can see that first person agitations, not so much, but third person agitations are starting to build again. And at the end of this 24-hour segment, you can see we have another spike very similar to this one that just created a bunch of mass shootings over this last Father's Day weekend. Okay. So we really want to pay attention here. We really want to take this serious. And Health Reconnected is really going to start pushing now for people to start sharing this because we cannot make this better if people are unaware of these moments. You'll see the video is very descriptive. It's very helpful to see that these events continue to be happening at or around these times. That's why this is so important. Now, these polarity points, if you can stay calm, that's half the battle. Okay, half the battle. Now, all this is trying to do is tripping you up so you can't take care of the objective. Well, what's the objective? The objective is to get along with all the people in our life, whether in our family, whether in our work, whether in our community, and being able to talk to those people and develop routines with those people that balance the four social perspectives. Now, if we're not balancing properly with the individuals that we share time with, and if we're not balancing with these individuals and trying to balance these social perspectives with them, then unfortunately, we're not doing the objective of this space-time experience. Now, unfortunately, space-time math is very, very simple, so it's going to be pretty hard to argue your way out of this. If you're having problems with a quadrant of your body, what you're really having problems with is balancing your choice either in the first person or third person level. And our choices and our routines should be around cooperative, positive communication where we're trying to integrate and work together to make sure that whatever we're contributing to at the individual, the family, the national, and the world level is mutually beneficial for all of us. If you are out of balance with your choices and your actions, your body will reflect that. And what it will reflect is if you're unbalanced, your body will be unbalanced, which means it won't feel well. It won't do well. It will accelerate aging and it will guarantee that there are going to be unfortunate states of disease that are going to hinder your quality of life as you move on. Health Reconnected is trying to help you clearly understand there is one of two things you can do here. You can try to get in alignment with these frequencies, which will extend your life and extend the quality of your life, or you can continue to not know how this works and focus on what you think is important and let these polarity points manipulate you and keep you defensive and agitated and non-cooperative. And all that does is accelerate things and create more hassle than you want to deal with. All right, that's enough about the objective. Now, I'm redundant with this because new people are coming in here and seeing this. And it's important for other people to remember this because if you heard it's so easy, our technology literally lets you punch in the times of the day that you don't feel well or things aren't going well, it'll tell you exactly what frequencies were being tested at that time, and that will let you know specifically what relationships and what social perspectives you need to refine and add to your routine to make sure that as these cyclical cycles come back, they don't cause you more suffering in the future. All right. That's how simple that is. Now, we're going to talk about day 4 here. Day 4 is this rectangle. We're going to get into the dialed in now, or the zoomed in view of both the electromagnetics and the overall testing sequence today for the quadrants. All right, so you can see here that we've got some elevated agitation still happening in the third person level for the first 12 hours. And then in the second 12 hours, you can see first person agitations jump up. Again, I would suggest everyone is on high alert, and I'm saying this because we've really been on a bender here, okay? We're on about day 5 of straight polarity that's either been messing with us from third person or first person perspectives. It's been alternating, it's been fluctuating, but it's been staying pretty constant. Now, remember, 4 is when we really start to notice it. So you can see that in the first 12 hours, as well as in the second 12-hour section, combined polarity points reach 4 quite a bit. In the third person, it's reaching 4, and also in the first person, it's starting to reach 4 here. Now, if you don't have good internet, I would suggest finding your time zone offset. All 24 time zone offsets are here. You come down here, you hunt and peck until you find your time zone. I'm -4 Eastern time, so this is what I would select here. Take a picture of this. This aligns the times with the charts, and now you have this no matter what. So there's no excuses. And as you can see, and in the video at the end here that we're going to introduce with the mass shootings, it's important to know when this stuff is. You might want to think about looking at the electromagnetics before you go to a big social gathering that's going to happen during a big peak. I mean, or at least that social gathering should be notified that that's happening so that they can take more precautions to make sure that it's safe for everybody. This is very valuable information, and in the world we're starting to have to live in with this mass shootings and all of this drama happening all the time, this is like life-saving information for you. So again, really pay attention to this. Even if you haven't been affected by one of those events, I guarantee you know somebody that has, and they're not slowing down, unfortunately. This is happening way more than we would like it to. All right, so electromagnetics, maybe not red alert, but we're definitely in a higher color, like orange alert here. So really kind of stay on it and just remember again, we're all going to be fatigued here. We've really been getting electromagnetic testing here for the last 4 or 5 days, so it's gonna start to wear our bodies out. That's gonna make it a little bit harder for us to feel energetic and to stay focused and concentrate in order to stay positive or to stay balanced during these moments. Alright, let's slide up here and talk about these alignments. So, the first thing let's do is just look at what colors or what parts of the body the alignments are gonna affect today, and you can see that there's a lot of greens and yellows today. So upper quadrant testing, all right? Lots of upper quadrant testing day and just a little bit going on the right lower quadrant. Now, let's just talk about the green and the yellow colors. Those are the tougher colors. Those are colors where we're more mature in our choices. Those represent mother and fathers, also nation and world routine choices, meaning that you're seeing the bigger picture. You've learned how to balance your routine. And now these greens and yellows are not only expecting us to be good and balanced, but to also be mentoring other people that are struggling or that don't have the same amount of experience that we do. So these colors are challenging. And I expect during the alignments on these that it's probably going to be noticeable for people in their upper quadrants on either side. All right, so now before we get going here, for any new viewers, what are these alignments about? Well, think of it this way. It's when two hands of a clock align. So when these space-time clocks, when their hands align, what's really aligning are two frequencies. And when two frequencies come together, they actually add up and amplify, and it creates this amplified moment, and that's what we're showing you here. So if the time bar is going through this, and when I say time bar, we've got a live feed on our page that shows exactly where we are. There's a time bar that comes through. If a time bar is going through one of these lines, what it really means, and you can look at the clocks to confirm it, that there's a hand alignment on these clocks. So these are the low-hanging fruit or the easy areas that we can kind of pick out during the course of the day that will be noticeable to you. Because they're stronger, they're going to be noticeable. And during these times, so you'd either take a picture of this or you'd use our live feed in order to know when this is happening. And you'll know exactly when these areas of the body are going to be tested by an amplified frequency. All right. So, first one we're going to talk about here is this ME alignment. It's this guy right here. It's an hour and a half. It's this little blue guy, and that's going to affect the right lower quadrant. The M is a 7.5 day frequency. The E is a 3.5 hour frequency. Both of them going to be coming down here during this time. Now, this is a relatively strong alignment, and it's going on for a little while. So if you happen to feel this one, definitely document that. That would be very helpful as far as how we can look forward into the future and know when these are going to be tested again. So if you have something unpleasant happen, we'll have you prepared before that happens again. All right, the next one we're going to talk about is this ME that's 4.75 hours long. Now, this is going to test national perspective, okay? So this is that bigger world perspective, national perspective. They're a little bit tougher, and not everybody's got that in their routine right now. So if you're lacking a national effort in your routine, something that you're doing on a daily basis where you're helping out or trying to keep our nation balanced, it's likely you're going to feel something in this upper quadrant, okay? Now, you can see that this thing runs pretty long here, and you'd want to align the times on your sheet to know when this is going to happen. And if there's a hit there, well, just document it. All right, let's keep moving here. So now we're going to get down and we're going to talk about this PE. That's this guy right here. It's an hour and 1.25 hours long. All right. This is going to affect upper right and upper left quadrant. This is going to be mother and father relationships. This is, again, this is where you're expected to be sharing with people and trying to help them understand how you balance and maybe helping them make some better choices to balance as well. That's what relationship is all about, is coming together, communicating, and cooperating. All right, the last one we're going to talk about is this one right here, this EE. It's just 0.75 hours long. This is also going to get after the upper extremity. This is national and world focus. So if there happens to be a hit there, just go ahead and document that. All right, so this is kind of a light day as far as testing goes, especially in the second 12 hours. First 12 hours, I would expect some people are definitely going to feel this 4.75. So I'm saying right now, if I was in practice, just looking at these alignments right now, this next 24-hour period, people are going to feel left upper quadrant. Going to be some things going on there for sure. All right, let's move down here now, and let's talk about where the macros are located. Now, during this 24-hour segment, there are countless frequencies that are cycling in and out and going through and testing our bodies. These are the 10 strongest. So let's just look at how they're aligned here. You can see there are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 6 on the left side of the body, and we've got 4 on the right side of the body. So a little bit lopsided here. You can also see that we've got quite a few of them stacked up here again in this upper left quadrant. So that's again why this is going to be very likely that people are going to feel this, because we've got all those macros parked up here on top of having alignments that are going to amplify that area. So this sequence, I would not be surprised if left upper quadrant, anything to do in this, head, face, neck, shoulders, elbows, hands, heart, digestion, lungs, you name it, sinus, memory, sight, all that stuff can be messed with if you're out of frequency with this. So really pay attention. And depending on what part of your body's affected is going to relate to specific frequencies too. So you're really going to want to pay attention to what it is you're feeling. All right. Let's keep going here. And now that we're kind of looking at this left upper quadrant, let's just look at the testing sequence here. You can see it's going to be hit pretty hard. Now, the good news is the right upper quadrant's pretty light again. No macros up there. This is staying at 2 or below. And then the left lower and right lower quadrants, well, they're being tested pretty regular here, pretty constant. The red or the right lower is staying at 4 pretty much the entire 24 sequence, and the left lower is jumping between 2 and 4. So, and you can look at this. I mean, you can see there are 4 macros on the right lower, and there are 2 macros on the left lower. So it's more probable that you're going to be feeling this right side. And also, just the math here. This is an average of 4 sitting here. This one's more of an average of about 3. So again, right lower quadrant, left upper quadrant, those are the predictions if I was in practice. All right, that's it. Make sure you check this one out too. This is mind melting. Knowing when the drama's coming, that is worth the price of admission. All right. We'll talk to you in the next 24-hour segment.